Okay, so between Manila, where we're heading to now, and Bangkok, there's honestly not a whole hell of a lot that I'm going to be able to talk about, right? We're going to be 4 days in Singapore, 4 days in... No, it was 3 plus the 1. So anyways, the bottom line is we're going to a whole bunch of places that there's really nowhere to go to. So I am completely skipping over all of this and going straight to Bangkok. Now we'll be in Bangkok, I believe it is the 16th of July. I believe the ship gets there at the 16th of July. But it doesn't go to Bangkok. It goes to Lam Chabang down there. And for those of you that have looked into it, it is an hour and a half car ride to get from there into Bangkok. If you want to take public transportation, it's over 4 hours by public transportation to get from the port to Bangkok. Now, I have not heard, if anybody else here has heard, that the ship has made arrangements for a shuttle. I'm not aware of it. I'd be very surprised if the ship doesn't have a shuttle. However, if the ship has a shuttle, given the distance involved, it will probably be 2 shuttles in the morning and 2 shuttles in the afternoon. So it won't necessarily be convenient. If you were to take a taxi from the port to Bangkok, it would cost you under $100. So if you get a taxi, with 3-4 people or what have you, it's not going to be the end of the world. But my point in all of this is 2 things. Number one, Southeast Asia, I've traveled to 146 countries around the world, as you know. Southeast Asia is probably my favorite part of the world, which is why I am so passionate about showing you what you can see and do. And of Southeast Asia, Bangkok is my favorite city. It is definitely in my top 3 cities in the world. I highly recommend that when the ship gets there on the 16th, you get off the ship as quickly as possible, either by the ship shuttle or a taxi, and make your way to Bangkok, okay? And spend your time in Bangkok. Do not use the ship as a hotel. It is not practical to do that. Now, people have said, okay, well, if we get a hotel in Bangkok, where should we stay? Well, you should stay along, this is, in my opinion, the best place in Bangkok to stay is along Sukhumvit Road, and particularly along the BTS Green Line between Siam and Asok. And to show you what that is, well, this is the subway system and the BTS system in Bangkok. But to give you a closer look, I am going to walk a little bit here, guys. This is the Green Line right here. And you want to pick a hotel between Asok and Siam. That is where the heart of Bangkok is. It's where it's walking distance to almost all of your nightlife. And it is easy to get around the other stations to get around Bangkok. That is my recommendation.
Can you go to the last slide, please?
This one?
No, the last one.
Yeah. So feel free to take a picture of this. I'm going to walk you through each of these day by day, but this somewhat itinerary is what I recommend is a good itinerary for your time in Bangkok, and I'll tell you a little bit about each one of these. Is that okay? Did I move on? All right. So this is what the BTS line looks like. It is an elevated subway system through Bangkok. It is incredibly clean, incredibly efficient. And by the way, for those that are uncomfortable or not familiar with traveling on your own in these foreign countries, English is widely spoken. You will not have any problems with people speaking English or with signage, especially in Bangkok. It is a highly international city. All right, so assuming that you get to Bangkok, and by the time you get off the ship, because it's the first port of entry in Thailand, it may be a while to get off the ship. By the time you get transportation in the city, let's just assume that the first day isn't a full day. And if the first day isn't a full day, I recommend that you basically just do 2 things in the afternoon, and that's it. And one of them is the Grand Palace. It is the most spectacular palace in all of Bangkok. It's easy to get to by the elevated train. There's a subway stop, there's a BTS stop right there at the palace, and it is beautiful. It doesn't normally wave like this, but especially when the sun is out, it's like jewelry on all of the buildings. Absolutely a spectacular palace, quite large. Part of it also is the golden Buddha, the reclining Buddha, which is really spectacular. And that'll take up most of your afternoon. Those two things alone will take up most of your afternoon. You'll build in some time to check into a hotel, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, hotels, we have hotels there right in the heart of Sukhumvit for $30 a night. So it is extremely affordable. That evening, I believe it is a Thursday night, I recommend that you go to one of the night markets. This is one of the night markets, and I'm going to go back to this slide really quick. So there are basically two main night markets I recommend in Bangkok. The closest one to where your hotel is going to be is called Jod's Fair. Very, very easy to get to. And that picture I showed you there is of Jod's Fair. A little bit further out is this one right here. Srinagar, yeah, sound like Kelly, don't I? That one is even bigger. And these night markets are a little bit different than maybe other night markets you've seen, partly because of their size. And for example, this one right here includes not just your typical night market fare, but concerts and all kinds of activities. You can easily spend an entire night out at these night markets. Pratinam here is not a traditional night market. It is where you want to go if it's raining outside. It is a night market type environment, but it's indoors. Okay, so just think of that if it's raining that night or another night that you want to go to a night market. And of course, there is more food at a night market that you can shake a stick at, and it is extremely cost effective. There are a lot of people that just eat at night markets every night when they travel. Which brings up a good point. There are ways to eat very inexpensively in Bangkok. Certainly the night markets, the street vendors, the street food is extremely inexpensive. And also I'm going to show you that a lot of the shopping malls in their basements have like supermarkets where you can, they'll cook the food right then and there. You pick it out, they'll cook it for you. A lot of the restaurants, the traditional sit-down restaurants in Bangkok, prices have gone up considerably over the years. It is not near as inexpensive as it used to be. However, there's plenty of opportunity to find affordable food. Okay, I didn't do a very good job of trying to remember what to do each day, but the second day, I'm going to recommend you start off with a canal tour of Chonburi, or Thonburi, as some of them say. And the way that you get there, that's going to take you through the canals. Bangkok used to use what are called klongs, which are canals through the city. And there's one canal in particular in Thonburi, which is way over here. That's really quite interesting. And it's really easy to get to. I'm going to show you on a slide. You can take a picture of it, but you're staying somewhere along BTS. You go here to Siam, you change, you go all the way to Safan Taksin, and the ferries, the ferry boats, long boats, are right there. You do not need, I'm going to repeat this over and over again, you do not need to buy a $50 or $100 excursion to do this. It is so easy. You get on the BTS, you go to the pier, you're 8 people, you negotiate with one of the boat guys, and he gives you a boat and takes you around for 2 hours at a fraction of the price. Here's some information if you want to take a picture of that or write it down. And it is an absolutely, well, you guys need to click your phones quicker. Well, yeah, we're not going to get through this in an hour. Okay. Absolutely highly recommend you do this boat tour. It is absolutely fascinating. It's going to take you through parts of the city where normal people live, but it's also going to take you past temples and and buildings that are really, really interesting. It'll also take you to the other side of the river, on the opposite side of the river from the Grand Palace to Wat Arun, which is probably the second most beautiful temple complex in Bangkok. This is another temple complex in Bangkok, which you can do, I believe this is all on the second day. If you want, you can go to the National Museum. If you feel templed out, this is considered one of the best museums of Southeast Asian history, culture, heritage in all of Southeast Asia. And that evening, if you want to, the riverboat down the main river is absolutely really beautiful at night. I did a dinner cruise, which was a lot of fun, but you can do a drink cruise. You could just do an ordinary cruise. And if you remember that slide of the different subway systems where I showed you how to get to that one to take the ferry, it's exactly the same dark green route. You just take it one stop further on the other side of the river to the Icon Siam Mall, and that is where all of the river boats leave from. You do have to buy your tickets in advance though, but really, really beautiful to see the river and the palaces. All the palaces are all lit up at night. The bridges are lit up at night. It's quite beautiful. Okay, so the next day is, I believe, Saturday. Saturday and Sunday are the two biggest days to go to the Chatuchak Weekend Market in Bangkok. It is the largest outdoor market in the world. I will give you a free Bangkok souvenir if you are able to see the whole thing in one day. We're talking 12,000 stalls. So literally you cannot see the whole thing in one day. But it is absolutely...
I've been there several times, and if you find something, don't look for a better price. You buy it there, you'll never find it again.
Yeah.
I've tried that too.
Yeah, did you all hear what Cindy said? Okay, so it is so large, and it's like a maze. Even though it looks like it's a grid, you'll get lost. It's just so massive. If you see something, you like it, it's a decent price, buy it, because you'll never find your way back there again later to get it.
And I lived there 4 years. If you go to Chatuchak, find the paella guy. Best paella.
Anyways, you can literally spend all day at the market. I have bought many of my Thai souvenirs at this market, and they will have everything from 50-cent souvenirs to $5,000 pieces of art. It covers everything. That's just a picture from inside the market. All right, that evening, I recommend that everybody experience at least once in Bangkok the nightlife. So Bangkok is the most visited city in the world. I don't know if you know that. I think I've mentioned it many times before, more so than Paris, London, etc. Bangkok is number one. I believe they're up to 25 or 28 million people a year visit Bangkok. Of course, 70% of them are men, single men, but that's a whole nother story. But no, I highly recommend that you go to the red light districts in Bangkok, if nothing else, just to see it. It is absolutely fascinating. There are 3 areas, and if you took a picture of that original, itinerary, the 3 areas are listed there. This is called Soy Cowboy. It is the newest and most popular red light district. It's just basically a small street filled with bars and go-go bars and girls, trying to get you to come in and buy drinks and things like that. It is the most interesting. If you only visit one in all of Bangkok, this is the one to see. Oh, I didn't take pictures of the others. Okay, the other 2 is Nana Plaza, which is the original upscale, if you can call it an original upscale, red light district right on Sukhumvit Road. I mean, it is the most convenient one to go to. It's kind of run down, in my opinion, and really not worth going to, but just walk through for 5 minutes. And then the original one that you probably have all heard of is Pat Pong. So Pat Pong is a little bit further away from Sukhumvit Road because it's, another part of the city that was originally the center of the city. there's really not a lot there anymore, unless you just want to go to one of their, ping pong shows, if you know what I'm saying. So if you want to see some really weird stuff happening, that would be the place to do it in Patpong. All right, so if you followed my itinerary the next day, I am recommending that you go to the floating market and the train market. It is a combined experience, and this is something where it doesn't pay for me to put together an excursion, because you can get them for $20 a person for the entire 8-hour day. Again, if you go on a cruise ship, they'll have this for sale for $100. So do it yourself for $20. It's really, really fascinating. For those that have been to it, the floating market, of course, is famous. Now, there are 2 floating markets in Bangkok, so be careful. There is a small little floating market in the city. That's not the one you want to go to. This one is outside the city, and it is the most popular one, and it is the only one that is combined with the train market. And this is part of the train market. And they call it a train market because the actual train goes through the market itself. And it's really interesting to see all of the shop owners, when the train comes by, all the shop owners are like moving all their stuff out of the way so it doesn't get run over by the train. However, this young lady did get run over by the train. Later that afternoon, was it later that afternoon or the next day? I can't remember. Anyway, Chinatown in Bangkok is also worth visiting if you can fit it into your itinerary. It is one of the largest Chinatowns in all of Asia outside of China. And it is fascinating to go shopping. The labyrinth of shops is amazing. You can get lost in it. And of course, at night for dinner, it is a spectacular place to have great Chinese food. And one of my favorite things to do in the evening is to go to one of the rooftop bars in Bangkok. Bangkok is world-renowned to having the highest number of rooftop bars in the world, based on, more than 40 stories tall rooftop bars. Some of them are elaborate. Some of them you can go for drinks only. Some of them you can go for dinner. But the views from up there are absolutely spectacular. I would definitely splurge, if not dinner, at least for a drink, to go and experience Bangkok in the evening, sunset, on one of the rooftop bars. And again, on that original itinerary page, I put down a list of the top rooftop bars in Bangkok. So please Google them. This is one of the newest buildings. I don't have a picture of the rooftop bar, but this building right here is not only one of the newest buildings in Bangkok, it has a rooftop bar, but it also has the highest glass observation deck. So you can walk out on the glass and the whole city is right underneath you. King Power Makahan or something like that. I can't remember everything. Okay, and then the final day in Bangkok, again, the itinerary I gave you, it isn't a structured itinerary you have to follow. It's just, these are the best things to do and see in Bangkok. Do it in any way you want, in any order you want or don't want. It's completely up to you. I'm just giving you ideas. But the last day in Bangkok I've dedicated to some more upscale shopping, different than the Chatuchak market or the night markets. This is called Jim Thompson's house. It's right in the heart of Bangkok off of Sukhumvit Road. Jim Thompson was famous for really creating the silk industry for Thailand, and is considered some of the top quality silk products in Bangkok. And this is where he lived. This is where he started his business. However, as much as Bangkok is known for its markets, it's also known for its shopping malls. The Siam Paragon, which is right on the BTS station. I showed, remember that one that I said between Siam and Asok? This is Siam. That is the heart of all the stations right there. Anyways, this is the BTS line right here, as you can see. Siam Paragon Mall even though it's become older now, it's still my favorite mall in all of Bangkok. So if you only go to one shopping mall in Bangkok, I highly recommend you go to Siam Paragon. The downstairs where the food is, they have a huge food court, but they also have a huge supermarket, which is absolutely fascinating. Of course, I'm in the food industry, so I find stupid things like that fascinating. But to walk around these supermarkets and see the way that things are displayed, does everybody remember going to that underground supermarket in Japan that I told you about at the Isatan? Wasn't that absolutely fascinating? Right? This is the same kind of thing. So it's huge. They have every kind of food imaginable. And what's amazing about this is they have stations all over the supermarket where you can pick out food and they will cook it and serve it right then and there, from an oyster bar to like caviar to French food to steaks. They'll cook your steaks. So it's a great way to have some really high quality product at a relatively low price, because you're paying grocery store prices, not restaurant store prices. Also, if you don't want to eat in the shopping mall that way, they also have restaurants. I like this one, but it's only one of, you ready for this? 700 restaurants in the Siam Paragon Mall. And not only that, are you ready for this? The Siam Paragon Mall is one of only 4 malls in one intersection. One intersection. Right near the Siam station, there are 4 malls all connecting, and each mall is massive. It's really an experience to see unto itself. This is another mall closer to Soy Cowboy. It's called Terminal 21. And the reason it's called Terminal 21, it's on Soy 21, or 21 Street, if you will. And it's called Terminal 21 because it's like an airport terminal around the world, and each floor is dedicated to a different part of the world. So it's really quite fascinating to see, and it's, again, really easy to get to. Okay, so that's really my input on Bangkok. Was that helpful at all? We're going to Bangkok twice. I'm going to talk about Bangkok second time around in a minute.
I just want to add one thing. I lived there for 4 years, and you just left out one little tiny thing, Soy 11 on Sukhumvit. So Sukhumvit Soy 11 is where all the really fun nightlife, restaurants, bars. You walk up and down the road, and there's not RVs, the VW vans that have been made into bars. You have to go there at least one night.
Well, almost every one of the soys is amazing. They got Little India is off of the soys if you want great Indian and Arabic food. I mean, it's really just you're going to love Bangkok. All right, so I'm going to move on because I actually have too much to cover. So unless they're willing to push the 4 o'clock port talk a little bit, I need to move on. All right, so we're finishing in Bangkok, July the 20th. And then we're going to all of these places. I am not going to talk about any of these places. Koh Chang, if you've looked at it on the map, is really not close to anything. So you're really not going anywhere. You're stuck in Koh Chang. At sea, you're not going anywhere. That was a test, okay. Singapore, we know. At sea, we know. Brunei, I've been to Brunei. It's okay. But then we get to Vietnam down here. So I'm not going to talk about any of this, but I am going to start talking a little bit about Vietnam when we get there in August. Is that okay? Yep. We good? Okay. So this is our original itinerary right here, okay, for Vietnam. And what I have here is what I'm doing. Vietnam is probably my second favorite country after Thailand. Again, if you take a look at where the ship is going, you are not going to be able to see Vietnam properly without getting off the ship. That's just plain and simple. The ports are way too far. Nha Trang is 6 hours away from the nearest place to see. Chiang Mai is an hour and a half away. How long is just how long? So how long is how long? No, just no. Anyhow, you're going to need to get off the ship if you want to see Vietnam. And Vietnam is absolutely worth seeing, and it's relatively inexpensive. When we get to Nha Trang right here, and I've already booked this stuff, so you know it's real. You can fly from Nha Trang to Da Nang for $77 nonstop. Pretty simple. I've booked hotels for $40 a night, and they're not hostels, they're nice hotels, for $40 a night. This is the itinerary that I've put together, spending one full day in Da Nang with some different options. And then from there, about 1 hour away, is Hoi An, the town of Hoi An we're seeing, but it's a day trip. And then from there, from Hoi An, going back to Da Nang, you take what's called a heritage train, which is a 3-hour tourist train, which I'll show you pictures of. It's really amazing. You take that train to Hue. No Hue. Okay. You spend some time, it's only $7 to take the tourist train. You spend the rest of the day in Hue, which I'll talk about. And then the next day is dedicated to the DMZ zone, because just north of Hue is the old border between North and South Vietnam. And there's lots of things to see there. And then after that, from Hue, you fly to Hanoi, $61. 4 nights in Hanoi at only $30 a night. I mean, it's just not worth going back to the ship. And by the way, somebody asked me, well, why can't we do this and then meet up in Chiang Mai, which is an hour and a half from the ship, and then stay there a couple of days and then get off again? It has cabotage law. So you're not going to be able to jump on and off the ship in Vietnam. So anyways, I'm just going to walk quickly through this itinerary, and then we'll go from there. So here's a map of what I just explained to you. So here's Nha Trang. As you can see, Nha Trang isn't really close to anything, right? Ho Chi Minh is all the way down there. Da Nang, which is the heart of where you want to be to see everything, is way up there. You can drive for 14 hours if you want, or you can spend $70 and take a plane ride. So here's Da Nang right here. Here's Hoi An, which is a day trip. Okay, there's Hue up there. Hue up there. Yeah, we can do that all day. And then north of Hue is the DMZ zone. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So Da Nang is worth spending a day in, but really not worth much more than spending a day in. And you can choose to do one of two things. You can choose to spend your time in Da Nang itself. One of the things that Da Nang is known for is their beachfront part of their city, is a well-known, lively area of the city. And this is a famous bridge, so Da Nang has a lot of famous bridges. Or you can skip Da Nang and just use it as a base and go to some of the places outside of Da Nang. This is called Marble Mountain, and it's a lovely day trip outside of Da Nang. It's actually 5 mountains with caves inside the mountains and temples and things like that all over. It's very nice. This I did for the day, and this maybe not for everybody, but I enjoyed it. This is called Ba Na Hills, and Ba Na Hills is a amusement park, I guess is the best way to call it. And it's just outside of Da Nang. You take a cable car to get up to the top, and it's kind of like a Universal Studios kind of a thing. And it's really, really interesting with the buildings. The most famous thing in Da Nang, which a lot of people go to Da Nang for, is this. It's called the Golden Bridge, and it is a famous bridge in Vietnam. It is in Da Nang, and it was built in Ba Na Hills. All right, so that's day one. Day two, you take a day trip to Hoi An. Again, you do not need to pay anything to do this. You take a direct train from Da Nang. It drops you off in Hoi An. It's only an hour away. You could take a bus, you could take a taxi, you could take a van if you're a group of people. Do not pay for an excursion, because once you get to Hoi An, all you're going to do is walk around. Okay, it's a relatively small town, but it is a beautiful town. It's filled with lanterns. If you go in the evening, they're all lit up. Anyways, that is Hoi An. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, not to be missed in Vietnam. Okay, this is a picture of the Heritage Train. Again, when you leave Da Nang, you're going to go 3 hours north to Hue. On this train, it leaves, I believe, at 7:30 in the morning or something like that. Again, you have the names. Look it up. It's easy to buy tickets. But it is a lovely, lovely train ride along the coast between Da Nang and Hue. All the way up to Hue. And Hue, it's not big. You don't need more than a half a day or a full day, depending on, you know, what you want to see. But there's only really 2 main complexes to see in Hue, which used to be the ancient capital of Vietnam before it was moved. This is part of the original palace, Imperial Palace. And it's very large, very beautiful, definitely worth walking around. And this is another complex in Hue that's worth seeing. Okay, then after Hue, which is right here. Again, you're in Da Nang. You use Da Nang as your base. The next day, you go to the DMZ, and it is a full day. You pay anywhere from $15 a person up to $50 or $100 a person, depending on if you do it yourself or not. Again, I already Googled this stuff. It is so easy to hire a 10-person van and a driver for the day, and it comes out to under $15 a person. They will take you, they know exactly where to go. They'll take you to the original border between North and South Vietnam. This is part of what it looks like. Some of the original bridges that separated North and South Vietnam. It'll take you to the Vinh Moc tunnels on the coast. And this was basically a city of about 80 families that for, I believe it was 4 years, lived underground. People didn't even know they were there. They did it, of course, for safety reasons. But it is an entire 3-story city built underground. I don't have a lot of pictures because I don't have a lot of time, but it's definitely worth seeing. And then from there, you're going to go to Khe Sanh. Has anybody ever heard of Khe Sanh? Right? It's probably one of the most famous Vietnam War battle scenes where the Americans, they got their asses kicked. And tens of thousands of American soldiers were forced to evacuate the airfield and literally just, you know, trying to save their lives from attack. But you can go visit the Khe Sanh airfield. It's quite interesting. You can see remnants of planes that were there, the bunkers that were there. It's definitely, especially if you're a history buff, it's worth seeing. And then also while you're in the area, you'll see the actual, they call this the Peace Bridge that separated North and South Vietnam. There are many bridges, of course, that separated too, but this was the main bridge, and you can see one color represented North Vietnam, one color represented South Vietnam. It's kind of cool to walk and have, you know, one leg on both sides of the border. I know it's tacky. And then they have all kinds of monuments there that you can see as well. All right, and then from Hue, you would fly to Hanoi, and I believe the price of the flight was $53. I mean, that's pretty cheap. So you would fly from Hue to Hanoi for $53. Hanoi is an absolutely fascinating city, way nicer than Ho Chi Minh. way more character. Again, I put down that itinerary. Did everybody take a picture of that little itinerary idea? Okay, the first day is all about the Old Quarter, and this is the Old Quarter has a wall around it, and it is absolutely fascinating, the Old Quarter. And one of the things that's really interesting about the Old Quarter of Hanoi is there are no shopping malls. The entire Old Quarter is a shopping mall, and all the streets are based on a particular product. And so you would have, for example, Wood Street, and all the shops are selling wood products. You'd have Paper Street, and all the shops that sell paper products, and Toy Street, excuse me, and so on and so forth. It's really quite fascinating to see the way that they structured their streets. Any chance someone can run and get me a glass of water? Sorry. You don't need me coughing. Also in the Old Quarter of Hanoi, it's a wonderful place to go out to eat in the evening. Everybody sits outside. Air conditioning is not something that is widely around unless you eat at hotels or Western restaurants. So everybody, because of the heat and humidity, eats outside on these little plastic tables and chairs. It's quite interesting. But at nighttime in particular, in the Old Quarter, it comes alive. It's like the entire Old Quarter is one big night market. Okay, so that's day one in Hanoi. Then day two in Hanoi is, I feel, should be dedicated to the new city. And when I say the new city, I'm talking more about the French colonial side of Vietnam. It used to be a French colony. Start off your day by visiting the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. This is the burial place of Ho Chi Minh. And it's really quite interesting. You definitely should see that when you're there in Hanoi. Thanks, Bob. Sure. Appreciate it. Do you need a tip? No. Okay.
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip. All right, and then of course, it's fascinating to walk around and see a lot of the beautiful French colonial buildings in Hanoi. This hotel is one of the most famous hotels in all of Hanoi. But all of the buildings are just beautiful, beautiful buildings. And then on the third day in Hanoi, I have listed, I believe it's a Saturday, and this is the most famous lake in the center of Hanoi. Sorry. And on the weekends, it turns into a pedestrian mall. The whole thing is closed off to traffic. And it's fascinating because you'll see not only shop sellers with stalls selling items and food and stuff like that, but you're going to see hundreds and hundreds of people out in the morning doing Tai Chi and kids playing games. It's just the whole city comes alive on the weekends and they close it off to traffic. So it's a wonderful way to start your day on that third day in Hanoi. And then from there, there's a couple buildings in that general area that are worth visiting. This one, it looks like Maison Centrale, which would be the center house, but it is not the center house. Anybody want to guess what this is? Very good, Hanoi Hilton. So this was called the Hanoi Hilton. This is the famous prison that everybody remembers. John McCain was imprisoned in during the Vietnam War, and it is a fascinating museum that's worth seeing. Also in the area is this absolutely gorgeous building that's very close to the lake, and this is the Opera House in Hanoi. Whether or not you choose to go to see something there, it's up to you. But the building itself is absolutely beautiful. And then one of the other things that's quite popular to do in the evening around the lake is the water puppet theater. Vietnam is famous for their water puppets. I mean, it's not the most fascinating show in the world, but it's very different than you've ever seen before, and it's super cheap. So it might be something that's worth seeing. In the evening as well. I think it's like $8 a ticket or something like that. And then from there, from Hanoi, again, if you look at the itinerary that was earlier on the screen, you take a 3-hour bus, which will take you from the central bus station in Hanoi right to the pier in Ha Long Bay. And of course, the pier in Ha Long Bay is where our ship is going to be. So it's a 3-hour bus ride to get there. There is no other way of getting there. There is no train. You have to take a bus, but it's super easy. And then you get back on the ship in Ha Long Bay, and then you have a couple extra days to enjoy Ha Long Bay. Okay, so, oh boy. We're running out of time here. Does anybody have any questions about Vietnam? Are you finding this helpful? Yep. Okay. All right, so the next section, I need to ask some questions before I spend a lot of time on it. So as everybody remembers, last year when I did a talk on Asia, I think it was part of the Japan talk, I also talked about China, because many of us wanted to jump off the ship and go to China. How many people in this room right now are interested in going to China while we're in that part of the world? Okay, enough of you. Okay, so I'm going to spend time on it. So, second question. How many people want to go to China but don't have a visa? Oh shit. Okay, you're in trouble. No, actually, you're not in trouble at all. Okay, so I'm gonna do this really, really quickly. If you want to have a breakout session individually with me, good luck, because I'm leaving the ship in 3 days. But I'm more than happy to assist with information for those that are going for the first time. For those that are going for the second time, you'll understand what I'm saying. But for those that are going for the first time, you do not need a visa. I mean, if you have one, you can spend more time there. But if you don't have a visa, you can still go there for 10 days. Now, by the way, for my Canadian and British friends here in the room, you do know that you no longer need a visa to go to China, right? So you guys don't have a problem. For our American friends who don't have a visa, you can still go to China for 10 days. Now, there are two important rules. Number one, you must leave from what's called a third country and go to China from a third country, which means a country other than China. And when you leave China, you have to go to another third country different than the original third country. That's why it's called a transit visa. You only really have one opportunity to do that, guys. Okay, you really only have one opportunity based on our new schedule. And that is when we get to Hong Kong in August, stay one more night, okay, on September the 1st. Use that time to go to Macau, because there really is no time built into this itinerary to go to Macau. And Macau is definitely worth at least seeing for the day. And for those that are doing this, you may not have a chance to see the pandas in China because you're not going to Chengdu. But if you do go to Macau, Macau has one of the largest panda rehabilitation centers. So you can still see pandas in Macau without going into Chengdu. Anyways, and then here you would fly from Hong Kong to Shanghai. China does not consider Hong Kong Chinese when it comes to their visa. So it is considered a third country. So it is super easy for those that did this with me last year. Super easy. You buy a ticket, you fly to Shanghai, you get to Shanghai, you fill out some papers, you pay them some money, and boom, you got a piece of paper with a 10-day visa. That's how easy it is. Okay? I recommend you spend at least 3 days in Shanghai, 1 day in what's called a water town, which are the old ancient villages outside the city. fly from Shanghai to Xi'an, spend at least 1 day there to see the terracotta warriors and all that, and then fly to Beijing, spend 3 days in Beijing, and fly from Beijing, catch up with the ship again into Trang. So you're going from a foreign country to China to Vietnam, another foreign country. Now, that's important. The other thing that's important to know is it's a 10-day visa, but it's not a 10-day visa. It's actually a 10-night visa. And that is an important distinction to understand, because a 10-night visa actually gives you more than 10 days, because they do not count the first day as day one. The second day is day one. So you can basically have almost 11 days on a 10-day visa in China, because it doesn't matter, and what you might want to do is try to look for flights early in the morning on the first day, and look for flights out late in the day on the last day, because they don't count the hours, they count the days. Is everybody following this?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm just going to tell you, there's another way to do it, another set of days. You can get off in Bangkok, and the last day of Bangkok, do your 11 days there, and then get back on in Sandakan, return to ship in Malaysia.
You know how much it'll cost you to fly from there to Sandakan? A lot of money. Yeah. So Borneo, so Sandakan is in eastern Sabah province in Borneo, and is very, very expensive. Yeah. But yeah, I guess you could do that if you wanted to do it during that time. Okay, I'm going to run through this real quick. Oh no, so I'm not going to run you through pictures of that. So that for those that are doing the 10-day transit, I recommend you follow that itinerary. Now, whether you fly from Hong Kong to Shanghai and then fly out of Beijing, or you fly from Hong Kong to Beijing and then fly out of Shanghai, doesn't matter. Take a look at the difference in the airfares between one city and the other, and determine for yourselves which is the best itinerary to follow. Okay. Can I get a raise of hands of those that are interested, that have already been to the main cities in China last year, that want to go more into central China? Can I get a raise of hands this year? Okay, a few of you. Okay, I'm going to run through this quick because we are running out of time. But this is the itinerary I am recommending for those of us that are going to do more of the interior part of China. And it looks like this on a map, starting off flying to Chengdu, over here, going to Guilin, Chongqing, and Xi'an up there, because we've already done Bangkok, Beijing and Shanghai last year. That one? Good?
How easy is China with only English?
Good question. Everybody's afraid of China that hasn't been there. They're not sure about the English, the signage, the security. I've personally been to China at least 5 times, maybe 6 times, if you don't include Hong Kong. I've never really had a problem. We didn't really have that much of a problem with language.
I think in the big cities like Beijing and Shanghai, I was stunned at how readily available English was, signage and everywhere. Now restaurants, that was another story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But signage and getting around was much easier than I expected.
Yeah,
I can't speak to the interior.
Yeah. China has really coming of age, if you will, opening up to international tourists, and you're really, as long as you stick to the traditional tourist areas, you're really not going to have a hard time getting around. And if you have any trouble, there's a thing called a translator. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Yeah. Okay. So.
Go back one just Oh, you did? Oh, never mind. I have a friend here. Okay.
Just one? Sally, you loved way more than that.
Only one sentence, no one else cares.
All right, I'm going to run through this really quickly. This is for all the people that are going to go into central China. This is in Chengdu. This is the main panda conservation area in Chengdu, where you get to see lots of beautiful little pandas. Oh, wait, one more time. Oh, I love it. Well, you guys are so cute. Okay. And then from Chengdu, you can fly directly to Guilin. Guilin is the quintessential China, water, river, beautiful mountains around you. Picture that you always see in the scenery. Don't really need much more than a day or two there. And then from there, going to Chongqing. This is a city I've always wanted to go to, is Chongqing. It's the second largest city in China. It looks like Manhattan right there. Part of the reason we have this on the itinerary is because it is a large city that's worth visiting, and it is a significantly less expensive transit city to get from one place to the other in this part of China. So if you're into cities like I am, Chongqing is definitely worth going to. It's also noted as, it's called a four-dimensional city because a lot of the buildings have different types of pedestrians and roads that are on top of buildings that you don't see anywhere else. They even have a subway system that goes through a building.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so it's a really very different city than a lot of the other cities, and fascinating and beautiful. So definitely worth 1 or 2 days in Chongqing. And then this is the main place that we're going to in China. This is the main driving force for those that are going the second time. And this is the Xinjiang Mountains. Is Lori and Reed Kincaid here? Ah, hello. So, yeah, you spent how long there?
We spent a week there, but we like to linger, but it was absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely stunning. There's 2 different mountain ranges in this one particular area. One of them, they call it the Hallelujah Mountains or the Avatar Mountains because it was the inspiration of the original movie Avatar. But it also has a number of really unique experiences that should not be missed, like this elevator up the side of the mountain, the cable car, the bridge, the glass bridge across the valley.
Reed bungeed off of that.
Reed bungeed off of that. I do not recommend you do that. You see what happened to Reed, right? This is another part of Tianmen Mountain, I believe it's called. You can walk up these stairs if you want, or you don't have to if you don't want to. This is certainly something I'm looking forward to doing, and that is walking around the mountains. You got to do it, guys. Come on, you only live once, right? Isn't that why we're living on this ship, to experience the world? All right, so I've got down the itinerary, 2 days, 2 full days in the mountains themselves, and then a day, there's a couple beautiful, beautiful water town villages, old ancient villages just outside of Xinjiang. This is an example of one of them here. And then from there, our intent is to fly to Xi'an. Now, why do we have Xi'an here when the other itinerary with 10 days had Xi'an in there? And that is because when we went last year, we did not go to Xi'an. We only went to Beijing and Shanghai. In hindsight, we probably could have squeezed time out, a little bit of time out of Beijing and Shanghai and added Xi'an in there. But because we didn't get a chance to see it last year, we want to go see it this year. And it's not just about the terracotta warriors. I mean, obviously, the city is well known for their terracotta warriors, but it was also the ancient capital of China back in the early days. So it's very much a royal capital city. And then that's it. From there, we're now catching up. Remember, if the original itinerary, our plan, if we do this, is to go from there and catch up with the ship in Nha Trang. Remember, the second Vietnam is in reverse. And so Nha Trang is not at the beginning, but at the end. So our intention is to catch up to the ship in Nha Trang. There's no cabotage issue because we're just getting on the ship for the first time. And then we're going to take it to Ho Chi Minh City. So this is Ho Chi Minh City. I think the ship has us there for those that are, well, for those that are staying on the ship, you're not really going to see much. But I think they have us down for 4 days in Ho Chi Minh City. Really more than 2 days is not necessary. It's got some beautiful things to see, but it's not historic. You know, a lot of it is rebuilt. It has a few beautiful buildings, but a lot of it is new. The two most important things to see in Ho Chi Minh is the War Remnants Museum, which is basically a museum dedicated to the Vietnam War from the Vietnamese perspective. It's kind of interesting to see the war from their perspective, which is quite different than the American perspective. And this is a famous building that was overrun during the Vietnam War. The other thing that's interesting to see just outside of Ho Chi Minh is the Gucci tunnels, and this is a tunnel network that was built by the North Viet Cong during the war, and this is one of the main reasons they were able to overrun Saigon, as everybody knows, used to be called Saigon. Paul, you have a question?
I just wanted to mention, you say, but you can't do Mekong Delta tours from Ho Chi Minh?
I can't hear what he said.
Do Mekong Delta tours from.
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Yep, and there is, well, let me finish up here. So if you're claustrophobic and you don't like MRI machines, you may not want to go into the tunnels. No, but there are definitely parts of the tunnels that are easy to go into. But it is quite interesting to see the network and learn about the history of the tunnels. And to your point, Paul, the Mekong Delta, if you want to take a tour of the Mekong Delta, you would do so from Ho Chi Minh. Any other questions about Vietnam at this point? Was that a good start to give you some information to work on? Okay. Not quite done. Almost done. In fact, we might be almost done. Oh shit, we didn't do Cambodia. Do I have a little extra time? Okay. Is that a yes? Oh, I just heard. I'm not sure what I heard. Okay, so we're flying from Ho Chi Minh City. Okay, the ship gets there on the 21st. We're flying to Siem Reap, which is, everybody's heard of Angkor Wat. So Angkor Wat is not a city. It is a archaeological complex within the city of Siem Reap. So you would fly to Siem Reap. I'm recommending 3 days in Siem Reap. The first day dedicated to the Angkor Wat complex itself. If you go early in the morning for sunrise, absolutely beautiful. The second day dedicated to some of the other temples, because it is a huge temple complex of multiple temples. And in fact, some of these other temples, in my opinion, although they're not as famous as Angkor Wat, they're more beautiful than Angkor Wat. And then on the third day, going to Tonle Sap Lake, which I'll show you in a minute. From there, flying to Phnom Penh, again, relatively cheap, $90. You see kind of like the new part of Phnom Penh and the historical buildings of Phnom Penh. And then the second day, seeing all of the main monuments dedicated to the Khmer Rouge and the killing fields, for those that know the story. And then catching up with the ship in Sihanoukville, which there is virtually nothing to see in Sihanoukville. Yes.
Yeah, just because at 4:30 they all have to go to passport control.
Shit. Okay, Angkor Wat, Angkor Wat, Angkor Wat. This is Bayonne, okay? Absolute. For those that have seen Tomb Raider, right? The original Lara Croft was filmed here. Absolutely stunning buildings. Do not miss it. The whole thing is walled in. This is another temple complex within the Angkor Archaeological Park. That's worth seeing. And then this is on the third day. You take a boat ride through mangroves and villages, and on your way down the river to the lake, you're going to pass by this village, which I always go to this village whenever I go here. It's absolutely fascinating. If you want to, you can get off the boats and walk onto the land to see the village themselves. Last time we were there, we went with a bag of candy for all the kids, and we just had an absolutely splendid day. But it's really quite unique and beautiful. And then you get to see all the life that goes on the river. You fly to Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh, of course, is the capital of Cambodia. It's got a lot of beautiful architecture, going very fast. Beautiful boardwalk in the evenings to walk around, very nice. And then on the second day, dedicated to the killing fields. This is an old high school in Phnom Penh. Again, if you took a picture of the itinerary, it has the actual name. It's also referred to as S21, but this is where a lot of the torture and interrogation of the prisoners was done. And then you can go out and see the killing fields themselves, the mass graves, and the different monuments that have been built dedicated to all of those that have died during the reign of Khmer Rouge. Okay, wait, this is important. Time for a little announcement. I know I'm spending a lot of time up here talking about spending our time and money off the ship to see all the wonderful things that we can see. I hope that when you budget for all of this travel off the ship, you remember the need for keeping this ship going. There is no way that we can avoid the fuel going up in price. I'm going home in a few days. My gas prices are going to cost me twice as much. I don't have a choice to pay it or not. My food prices have gone up. I don't have a choice to pay it or not. We owe it to ourselves. This isn't about Villa V. This is about our home. We need to keep our home going. So please, if you have not yet contributed to the surcharge fund, they're willing to work with you if you can't do it all at once, but please do your part. Okay, I'm almost done. I only have 2 things left. We are going back to Bangkok, second time around. You do not necessarily have to see the same things again, but we are going to the same port as we did this time. But unlike Bangkok, which is an hour and a half away, Pattaya is only 30 minutes away. So you can use the ship as a hotel and visit all of this in Pattaya. And it's worth seeing. A lot of this is fascinating, fun, and worth seeing. So you don't have to go back to Bangkok. But if you want to, you can. This Ayutthaya is the ancient capital north of Bangkok. You can go there, or you can fly to Chiang Mai and spend a few days in Chiang Mai. And then this is it, almost done. Oh, shit, sorry. Whoop. I only have 1 slide left. Okay, the only reason I want to bring up this slide is for those that remember, we went to Kuching, want to see the orangutans. We didn't see the orangutans. We want to see the proboscis monkeys. We didn't really see the proboscis monkeys, or if we did, it was way out there. Do not fear, my friends. We are going to Sandakan, and Sandakan is the place to see this stuff up close and personal. You are literally, when our ship docks in Sandakan, you are literally 1 hour driving away. Here's the port area. You are literally 1 hour away from the orangutan facility, from the Rainforest Discovery Center, and the Labuk Bay Proboscis Monkey Sanctuary. You can see them all up close and personal. And when I say up close and personal, I mean up close and personal. Yeah, that's my brother.
That's Darrell.
Not to be missed, one of my favorite places in all of this part of Asia was eastern Borneo, Sabah province. These are all different monkeys in the Labuk Bay area. Sun bears, Rainforest Discovery Center to walk around the treetops of the rainforest. And then if you do that in one day, you have 2 extra days, you can look into doing a one-night river lodge along the Kinabalu River, and you can take boat rides along the river to see the orangutans and proboscis monkeys in the wild. So I just want you to know something to look forward to where you're going to see orangutans and proboscis monkeys in the wild. So hopefully this helped a little bit. Thank you for your time.
Can you mention her talk is coming next, please?
Was that?
Can you mention her talk is coming next?
Okay, yeah, so what's her name?
Ida.
Oh, Ida, yeah, sorry. Ida is coming for her talk on Manila. Do you know if she's going to be talking about Tondo?
I don't know. I have no idea. Just that's all.
Okay,
Good job. Thank you, sir.
okay. Do you need this
What's up?
headset?
No, she's gonna use it. Why can I not put in this?
Turn it on the other side. Right here.
Thank you.
These young kids.
Do you want your water, dear?
Yeah.
Give me Mike.
Mike, I don't know where Mike is.
Right here.
Oh.
And can I get those
Can you
slides?
call her over? Is it? Eat it to the front. Eat it to the front. Eat it to the front.